Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a young boy who was known for his athleticism. He was very competitive, and winning was the most important thing to him. His focus was always on coming first, and his self-worth was often measured by his victories. His talent was undeniable, and he quickly became the pride of the village. One day, the village held a running competition. The whole community gathered to watch the event, excited to see the young boy race. The race was about to begin, and the boy, filled with determination and strength, stood at the starting line, ready to give it his all. As the race started, the crowd cheered for him, urging him on. The boy pushed himself to the limit, using every ounce of his energy. He crossed the finish line, first place in his grasp. The crowd erupted in applause, celebrating his victory. But for the young boy, this was just the beginning. He felt a surge of pride and accomplishment, and as the adrenaline of his victory faded, his mind immediately turned to the next race. Another race, another victory, he thought, eager to prove himself again. The second race was soon announced, and the boy stepped forward once more, ready to compete. This time, the challengers were two more young, fit boys, athletes who were just as determined to win as he was. The race began, and once again, the boy surged ahead, his speed and stamina carrying him to victory. He crossed the finish line first, and the crowd cheered even louder this time, praising his strength and perseverance. At this moment, an old man who had been quietly watching the races from the sidelines decided to speak up. The boy, feeling more confident and important than ever before, started calling for yet another race. He was sure that if he kept racing, he could keep winning, and that would prove his greatness. The old man, however, had a different idea. He stepped forward, calling the boy's attention. If you truly seek to understand victory, perhaps it's time for a different kind of race, the old man said. With that, the old man introduced two new challengers. The boy was puzzled. One of the challengers was a frail old woman, and the other was a blind man. Confused, the boy asked, "What is this?" "This isn't a race." The old man simply replied, "A race is a race, no matter who participates." The boy, still skeptical, reluctantly agreed. The race was about to begin. When the race started, the boy immediately surged ahead, leaving the old woman and the blind man far behind. He reached the finish line quickly, feeling a sense of triumph. But as he looked around, he noticed something strange. The crowd, which had cheered so loudly for him in the previous races, was now silent. No one clapped, no one shouted. They just watched him, staring without saying a word. Perplexed, the boy turned to the old man and asked, "Why isn't anyone cheering? Why is no one applauding me?" The old man smiled kindly and replied, "You have won, but this victory is different. You have achieved something, but not what you truly need. Race again, but this time, finish it in a way that brings everyone along with you." The boy was confused, but decided to follow the old man's advice. He returned to the starting line, but this time, he did something different. Instead of rushing ahead as he had before, he paused and took the hands of both the old lady and the blind man. He slowed down, walking with them, making sure they could cross the finish line together. It was no longer about him winning alone, it was about everyone crossing the finish line together. As the trio reached the end of the race, something remarkable happened. The crowd, which had been quiet during the boy's previous solo victories, now erupted in cheers and applause. People smiled, clapped, and cheered for the boy and his two challengers. It wasn't just a celebration of the boy's victory. It was a celebration of the unity, kindness, and respect that had been shown. The boy, though still young and full of pride, felt something deep inside him that he hadn't felt before. A sense of fulfillment and understanding. He turned to the old man, still unsure of what had just happened. Why were they cheering now? Why didn't anyone cheer when I won alone? The boy asked. The old man looked at him with a wise and knowing expression. Little one, he said gently, in this race, you have won something far greater than any victory you've had before. You've earned the respect of the people. The boy was quiet, reflecting on the old man's words. The race he had won alone had been about personal achievement, but it wasn't until he chose to finish the race with others, lifting them up rather than leaving them behind, that he truly earned the admiration of the crowd. The old man continued, in life, respect is one of the most valuable treasures you can acquire. It's not about winning alone, but about how you treat others. When you treat people with dignity and kindness, when you lift them up instead of pushing them down, you not only help them grow, you help yourself grow as well. The boy now understood. True respect wasn't about being the fastest or strongest. It was about showing empathy and kindness to others, regardless of their abilities. It was about recognizing that we all have something valuable to offer, and that we rise higher when we help others rise with us. In the end, the boy learned a powerful lesson that would stay with him throughout his life. That true victory lies not in crossing the finish line first, but in making sure no one is left behind. And in that, he gained the respect he had always sought. So, let us remember, in our own journeys, we must remember that respect is earned through kindness, compassion, and the willingness to support others. It is not enough to just strive for personal gain. True greatness comes when we lift others up along the way. And when we do, we will find that the respect we seek is given freely, and it is much more valuable than any medal or trophy. Thank you for listening, and keep rising.